And it started as a kind of a little bit of a joke, but I ended up picking up, I think in one stream, I picked up Super Fire Pro Wrestling 3 just because it's a Japanese wrestling game and I like Japanese wrestling. But also Super Fire Pro Wrestling 1. And since I had 1 and 3, Digital Heritage was doing a combo deal with this and Super Fire Pro Wrestling 2. So of course I did it. It was like getting Street Fighter 2 for free. Can't say no to that. But I also ended up getting Super Fire Pro 2. So once I got Super Fire Pro 1 and 2, in another stream, I ended up getting Super Fire Pro 3 Easy Type. Because apparently, when they released it in Japan, Super Fire Pro 3 was extremely hard. So they had to put out a easy version, and that's this one. It's no DLC. Can't just download a patch. And so, yeah, I ended up getting those. But I also have another wrestling game coming from Digital Heritage. I don't know what that one's going to be like, but it's not Super Fire Pro Wrestling. It's something else. So I'm actually interested to see what that is. But the same people made made this one, and this one is All Star Dream Slam. And I didn't actually recognize the wrestler on the front from afar, but once I got it in the mail and I looked at it, I was like, "Holy crap, that's Aja Kong!" And Aja Kong is a female wrestler in Japan. Actually, she's wrestling as late as recently as a couple years ago in AEW, All Elite Wrestling. So I was already a fan. I was like, dude, Aja Kong is cool as hell. And so you go in there, and there's actually several wrestlers I recognize, and this is an all female only, so there's only women wrestlers on this, and it's pretty badass, I gotta say. So I'm pretty happy with like Japanese wrestling games. They're pretty cool, and they've got American wrestlers in there too, but they're named kind of weird to get around some of the trademark stuff. Like Sting is called the Spike, which is pretty funny. And a couple of games that I got are pretty big games as far as, well, let's talk about those last. I'm going to put them in a pile. Let's talk about some more staples. So we already talked about Donkey Kong. This is the exact same as Donkey Kong Country, but they call it Super Donkey Kong. So we talked about that. And then two other games that I got are this one. I didn't know what this was when I saw it, but if you look at the front, if you can read this, it says Super Mario, Super, and then Mario, and then this right here says Collection. And so I was like, what the heck is Super Mario Collection? So I got it, and dude, it's basically Super Mario All Stars from regular SNES. You got Super Mario 1, you have the Lost Levels, which was Super Mario 2 in Japan, and then you got Super Mario Brothers 3. So the crazy thing is there's also Super Mario USA, which is Super Mario 2 in the United States. So that's the one where you can pick Toad or Luigi or the princess along with Mario, run through that dreamland, picking up turnips and stuff. So all four games are on this thing, which is cool because in the United States it was called Super Mario All Stars featuring the Lost Levels, which was just Super Mario 2 in Japan. So they're both called something different, but they're the exact same game. So I had a lot of fun playing this, and the graphics are like 16-bit compared to 8-bit for all those Nintendo games. So this is a fun one. Then of course the next one's Mario Kart. I don't even need to talk about that. Everyone knows what Mario Kart is. So I don't have to say anything much about this. This is a fun game. There's not much difference between this and the American one. Obviously the menu is all in Japanese, but I mean you can navigate it pretty easily. It's common sense if you look at it, but the good thing is that the Japanese, that writing that's on it is pretty easy to read too. So you can get around pretty simply in the Super Mario Kart. So it's very playable. Some games that are a little bit more difficult to play though are games like this, Magic Adventure. This game is a weird one, man. I saw it on digital stream and I was like, you know what? I swear I've seen that like on a list of games that are like fun that they only released in Japan. So you play as this little guy here, and you're trying to find this, I guess, witch. And this guy's like weapon is his tongue. So he's got like this like chameleon tongue that like lashes out and like he just licks stuff. So there's all these like cookies and stuff in every level that you just like lick up. It's a very weird game, but it's very funny. So it's it's a funny game for sure. Highly recommend if you can find this. There are the stories in Japanese, so unless you can read it really good, um, it's difficult to follow along, especially like in the part where the text is really quick. That's kind of hard to read, and I just kind of go through that and just play it. But it's a fun game though. One game that I got that was super surprising for me because I had seen it on digital stream so many times, and I always saw it, and I was like, you know, what the hell is that game? So I went looking on YouTube, and I found out that this game, Front Mission, okay, it's weird. I don't know if this is in the United States. Maybe it is. It has to be because the gameplay is all in English. All the menus are in English. Everything is in English. The dialogue is all Japanese. The cutscene stories are all in English and Japanese. So you got the scrolling text, right, on the screen. All that's in English, but it's got subtitles on the bottom of the screen that are Japanese. So it's almost like this is a American game translated to Japanese. But then once the game starts, they all start talking to each other like in Japanese. So it's difficult. Um, my understanding of Japanese is very, very limited. If it's in kanji, I have no idea what it is. If it's in katakana, it's easier because that you just sound out the word and it's usually an English word. So a lot of the text in this is in katakana, which is nice because then you sound it out and you're like, oh yeah, I can read that. So I can read some of the text in here, especially when they're like talking shit back and forth, like in the game. But as far as the story is concerned, like there's tons of like dialogue in this where you start talking to like your commander and stuff in between missions. I have no idea because it's just so much text, so much of it. And the cool thing though is like in between each, it's a tactics game, so it's on a grid. Of course, I love tactics games, and you control mechs, little mechs. Of course, in the game they're huge mechs, but like it's this map with these tiny mechs, and they're walking around. You know, it's like this guy can move like 8 spots. So you can like move him 8 spots, and then he can attack if he's got the range to the other. It's like it's just basically chess. You know, like it's a board game pretty much, and super cool. In between each fight, you get money and stuff like that, so you can buy upgrades for your mechs, different guns, different armor, different kinds of like arms and legs and cockpits and stuff. This game is a super sleeper hit, man. I did not expect to love this game as much as I do. It is one of my favorite Super Famicom games that I've ever got, and that includes games like Final Fight and Street Fighter and all that. This game is super cool. Do I know what's going on half the time? Hell no, but I do know that there's a crazy war going on, and all the characters are super cool looking, and it's fun. It's a fun game. I've only got through like 4 missions so far, but man, this is super cool. I'm gonna probably play this and beat it, and then when I'm done, I won't know what's going on, but I'll still have fun playing it. Speaking of not knowing what's going on, I purchased a few games. Um, their their American counterparts are so expensive. The Japanese ones are not. So we're gonna start off with Final Fantasy V. Now, 5 is a game that You don't really hear much about Final Fantasy V. I don't even think was this released in the United States because see, Final Fantasy V. I know there's one, two, and three, right? There's one, two, and three, and then out of nowhere, seven comes out in America, in the United States. So we were like, what's going on? Why do we have Final Fantasy one, two, three, and then six or seven? Well, this was one of them. There's obviously there was like four that weren't even released here in the United States. And I don't know if this is one of them or not. You don't hear much about Final Fantasy V, but I got it anyway. But it's completely in Japanese. Completely. So trying to play this game is difficult until you get some kind of translator. And I could not get that and not get this one. This game is expensive even in the American one. So I got it. I got this from Digital. It is a banger of a game. Last but not least is another game I can't play because it's in all Japanese. And that's Chrono Cross. Or Chrono Trigger, sorry. Chrono Cross was on what, PlayStation? But Chrono Trigger is super cool. This game, dude, I put this in, right? And somebody has played, all the characters are level 99 on every save file. And so every time they hit something, it's like 99999. I played a couple of battles just to see what the game is like, and the menus. That's the thing is the menus. I can read enough to navigate the menus and navigate the spells and know what I'm doing during the battles. But then once you get out of that, dude, and you're playing the game and you have to like talk and there's like dialogue and story, I have no idea what's going on. No clue. So this is turning into a game where it's like run around and do battles, but don't tell me like there's no way I can play this because I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I don't know who is what. I don't know like what the story is. All I'm doing is fighting. And a friend of mine on Discord was like, "It's a JRPG. No one knows what's going on, even in English," which is fair. But yeah, I don't know what I'm doing in this. Yeah, I have played Chrono Trigger on emulation. So the first like parts of it, right, is running around in this like little town fair, and everyone's telling you to go this way, go that way. And dude, if I was playing this, there's no way I would be able to understand what's going on at the beginning of the game. Killer music though, killer graphics, beautiful sprites. This game um, is super cool. And now you're probably asking yourself, why the heck did you buy a game that you can't read? There is a very specific reason for that. I don't have it with me right now, but I have a Steam Deck, right? And the Steam Deck has got emulation, insane emulation, tons of it. And I've got all these games on emulation and more. And every single game that has ever come out on Super Nintendo and Genesis and regular Nintendo and arcade, every PlayStation game, everything. And because of that, I have thousands of games on my emulator. And we had a discussion on Digital Heritage's stream where I am going to delete all of the games I don't own on my Steam Deck. Now, why? Because I just think it'd be more fun to play the actual games that I own. It makes it more fun to collect. So that's what I'm going to do tonight, I think, right after I finish this video. I am going to go delete all the games I don't own. So, Chrono Trigger, I own. So I can keep that on there. And I own Final Fantasy VI and Final Fantasy V. So I'm going to take those and I'm going to play them on my Steam Deck for now. Until I get a Retron 5, which basically takes the game, takes the ROM off of this, puts it in the machine, and then allows me to patch it with an SD card with the translation. And then I can play all these games without fear. I can buy any game I want because if it's got a translator, like a band translation, I can play the games. So that's what I'm going to do. But for now, I'm going to just keep them on emulation and play, and just keep playing the ones that I can play on my actual physical system. Man, this is a lot of games. I'm only missing, if I take this Street Fighter out of the box and put it here, it'll be perfect cube of Super Famicom. So just to count how many games I've got here, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times 3, 24. Well, 8 times, yeah. I've got 32 Super Famicom games with a couple more on the way. 32. So it looks like I'm collecting Japanese games, which is crazy. The next video is less games. I think 24. Not, I mean, that's still quite a bit. But I just bought cases, dude. I just bought cases for these bad boys. So I have a lot of Game Boy games, man. Oh, these are, ironically, these are all Pokemon. But I have Game Boy games now that I never thought that I'd be playing, that I'd have. I never thought I'd be collecting Game Boy games. But here we are. Do I have a Game Boy? No, I actually do not have a Game Boy. But I do have this. It's a Super Game Boy. So I just plug in a game. Let's do this Kunio-kun, which is basically River City Ransom on the Game Boy. Of course this case is going to be difficult. What's funny is there was a complaint on Amazon about these cases because they were like, oh, it's too hard to open. And I laughed at it, but now I'm having a hard time opening them. But these Game Boy games especially are pretty brown. I don't know why, but Game Boy games get like super brown and discolored. So these are the ones that I'm interested in fixing up and using that whole method to get them back to their normal colors. But yeah, you just plug this sucker in, plug that into my Super Famicom slot on my game, and I can play these games on the TV. So that's why I have a bunch of Game Boy games. So there's kind of no point in even, the cool thing is like you can just see them in the case. So I don't even have to take them out of the case to talk about them, which is cool. Because I've got several of these Kunio-kun games. Oh, didn't even close that one. There's a couple of these that aren't closed. But I've got 3 Kunio-kun games on Super Famicom. Might as well be. These are Game Boy. These are all Game Boy games. I think that this is the version of Crash and the Boys from the US, but it's some kind of like track meet type of game. It's like an obstacle course game. It's kind of fun. You don't need to know Japanese to play any of these games. And of course this one, this is everyone's favorite, is Dodgeball. So yes, I got some really fun games from Digital Heritage, man. Guy's great. I'm going to try to find the link of his show, and so you can come check him out. But I'll also post that link about Whatnot, so you can sign up if you don't have it, and then we both get cash for it. Both get $15. And I always see these guys saying, oh, sign up and I'll get $15, you get $15, ha ha ha. But it's true though. It is true. We'll both get some kickback for it. You get free money, so do I, and that's pretty much all I get. It's not like I get $1 billion or anything. I'm not making money for you to like keep coming spending shitloads of money. Just sign up the once, go buy something. Man, we both get $15. How cool is that? Maybe we can both meet up in Digital Heritage and buy a whole bunch of games. 'Cause that's what I do like every week. It's fun. Dude's a cool guy. The best part about it though is he lives a state away. He actually lives less than 3 hours from me. So anytime I order a game and he puts them in the mail, he usually gets here in like a day or two. It kind of makes it even more enticing to buy games from him because it's like, dude, I'm gonna buy these games and they're gonna show up in like a few days from whenever he mails them. But anyway, that's my Super Famicom thing. I've got a wrestling game coming. I bought from the other guy, the Elements dude, and I got Kirby. So I got a Kirby. I got two Kirby games, I think. I got Yoshi's Island and Kirby. Two Kirby games coming. So I'm gonna be playing a lot of games, man. But literally, Front Mission though is probably gonna be my focus for a bit, and it's cool, but it gets really wild and deep. So I'll have stuff like Super Fire Pro, or maybe even play some of these Game Boy games, kind of like something quick. The Gundam SD Gundam 2 game is fun too. So that or Mystical Ninja. There's a lot of games I just got that I'm really excited to play and really dig deep into it. But man, that's it. Talk about Game Boy next, and maybe we'll talk about some NES. NES is my was my was my focus. Actually, still is. NES is my focus. So I'm really excited about sharing that journey with you. But this is such a fun detour. I mean, real quick, while we're doing Super Famicom, I might as well just show you the 3 Super Nintendo games I have. So I've got Star Fox. We all know Star Fox. We all know F-Zero. And we all know Super Mario World. So I ended up getting Star Fox, I think, online for like $8. Super Mario World I got at a pawn shop for $5. And then F-Zero I got for, I think, $11 at a used game store in the next town over. But those are the only Super Nintendo games I have, and everything else has been Japanese because Japanese games are cheaper. Even if you go to like the store, right? The local game store, the Japanese games are still cheaper. You look on price charting, the Japanese games are way cheaper. Like Chrono Trigger, Japanese, I think maxes out around like $7. So it's about a $7 game in Japanese, but like in American, the US version of it is like $80. Dude, it's wild. And I don't know if it's because they just printed like 8 million of them or what, but like Pokemon Red, real quick, this one here, if you look this up, I think this is like $10, maybe less than that. It's not a very expensive game, but yet the American version is like 60 plus, and 60 is like a very conservative number. Like you go to any game shop and you're gonna see them for like close to $100 for the American version of Pokemon Red. But Pocket Monsters Red is like a $10 game, if that. So I don't know, man. It might be it's more financially smart, I guess. It's financially smart to play and pay Japanese games, pay for them, especially that Metroid. Dude, I bought the Metroid game for $30. The Super Metroid game was $30. The American version is like 80. It's the exact same game. Plus, the cart looks way cooler in the Japanese version, which is very true for a lot of these. Like the Japanese version of these carts look way cooler than the American one. I mean, the Street Fighter 2 one looks cool, but I know the American one is like Blanca. Then the artist that did the Blanca one passed away recently, so I can't really say that his art sucked because it didn't. The art was good, but when you look at the Street Fighter 2 for the Japanese one, it's just so much cooler than what we got here. Yeah, here we go. So Super Metroid's got Ridley flying on it, I believe. But look at the Super Metroid for Super Famicom. This is such a cooler looking cart than the one we got here in the United States. Anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna split this up into two because I stopped the video earlier after talking about Donkey Kong Country, Super Donkey Kong. So what you see is gonna be like part one that just ends abruptly, and then we're gonna start part two here. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put these together and maybe put them up tonight. Tonight, by that I mean it's April 1st, so we'll see. But anyway, hey, thanks for watching. I know it was like really boring, but I don't really have anybody to like share like this joy with. And that's one thing that collectors like to do is um, share fun stuff. So I wanted to like say, hey, look at my games, and then when I get new ones, I'll start doing some mail calls that make it cooler. So I'm like, hey, look what I got in the mail today, and I'm gonna do that with the next mail thing I get. I'll just open it and display it here, and we'll do a quick video, even if it's like 2 minutes. We'll open up games together every week or every other couple days because that's how it is. I order games so often. So yeah, thanks for coming and watching about these Japanese games that you probably don't give a damn about. But it's fun, man. It is super fun, super cool. So maybe I'll do some gameplay videos at some point. But right now, I just want to talk about the carts. And thanks again. And I will be back with some more videos real soon to talk about Game Boy games because I do have quite a bit of them, and it'll be fun to just show you what I have on Game Boy. So, all right then, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for sticking around for all of my ramblings. I appreciate you guys.